Hello, beautiful family. Let's get into episode 3 of Before the 90 Days, starting with Tiger Lily, baby.
Are you ready?
I guess we'll see, baby.
I can't believe that I just met this man and now we're like getting married? It's wild. Adnan introduces Lily to his brothers and his mom. She starts kissing Tiger Lily, but then cuts to her private interview and she does not appear very happy.
أنا أول ما شفت رايكلي إنه حسيت بيها يعني لسه متخوفة.
Look at her eyes and her skin. And mom's not wrong. Tiger Lily is scared because she just learned a few hours ago that he wants a buttload of kids. They sit down and start the ceremony. Adnan looks at her lovingly and grabs her hand, and the priest man is like, "Don't touch her."
You have to repeat it after me. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallallahu.
This girl can barely speak English, and now you want her to bust out Arabic?
No, I'm trying to see if it'll work out here, and I know that it's not.
She has no idea what's going on, which nobody should be surprised about, but I am surprised that she wasn't forced to convert like some of the other women we've seen on the show.
I'm definitely not following all that's going on.
All of this and all of that, all I want is a lot of Xanax right now. I don't know anything about this Muslim marriage contract. Am I like putting myself in a bad situation? But she goes ahead and signs the contract anyways.
I'm just going to follow my heart and get married.
It's so difficult to clip and edit her because she talks so painfully slow. I want to fast forward her clips, but then you wouldn't get the full gravity of her words. So he flips her chair around and proposes with a gorgeous ring, and then they're finally able to touch.
I have a husband and a partner and somebody to share my life with.
It sounds like she just adopted a dog, the way that she talks about him. He tells us that he wants to make out with her right here and now, but despite being married, they can still not kiss in public. So he burns rubber and takes her back to the hotel as fast as he can.
I'm so excited to this moment all my life. For a private part.
They kick the cameras out of the hotel room. He won't even kiss her with other people watching. It's the next morning, and Adnan says yesterday was the best day of his life. They obviously didn't waste any time getting the petals off the bed because the comforter is stained. Adnan doesn't divulge any details, but Tiger Lily tells us that it was great. He was great. I'm not sure if I believe her, but okay.
Right now, I don't even know how I'm standing.
Oh, how heartwarming. They share breakfast together and we learn that in a few hours she will be meeting the rest of Adnan's family. Of course, she has to get all glammed up for the event, but she's told her stylist to take the day off. So instead, she's contacted the spa downstairs and asked someone to come up and get her ready, because getting yourself ready is for the pores.
This is hair stylish.
What?
This is hair stylish.
Yes.
He's like, why isn't it a woman? And she goes, baby, that's just who they sent. He's like, I was okay with the other dude because she said he's like a brother, but this is unacceptable. No man will touch my wife.
I need my hair done to go and meet your family. I can't go with my hair like this.
That is so awkward for the guy standing there listening, and he did know some English, so she tells him she wants her hair curled, and when the guy is brushing out her hair, it looks like a wig that has been like sitting in the closet for over a year. It's all tangled up. I'm like, why can't she just brush out her own hair? It was so weird to me. And then Adnan is just standing there like, that's my wife.
Baby, are you gonna watch the whole time?
Yeah? Baby, put down your shirt.
I would be so insulted if I was that guy. Like, is he assuming he has no self-control and within seconds he's gonna assault her right in front of him? I've never seen this side of Adnan. He's like really controlling and possessive. This guy isn't even touching me, just my hair, and that's not even mine.
I will put a timer, 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, you will have a good hair.
This is getting a little ridiculous. I can't meet your mom with bad hair. That would be wild. I said 5 minutes. So now this guy is trying to hurry up and finish, and Tiger Lily already said that she didn't want him to rush. I knew he didn't want me to have male friends, but like...
I didn't know that he met every guy anywhere in the universe.
It's her fault, but it's also his. These cultures are so different, and they didn't care about any of that. They were good looking, check. They're dressed to the nines, check. Like, what else is there?
It's going to be extremely difficult to follow these rules and not be around any man at all.
But he manages to get her hair done, then they get in the car, and her hair is not curled at all. Why couldn't she just brush it herself? Oh my gosh.
This is my chance to make a good first impression before our big wedding celebration tomorrow.
Once again, she has no idea what to expect. She doesn't know if she's allowed to touch anyone or shake their hands, but he tells her it's only women at the event, which is weird. I know I have some Muslim listeners, so can you guys please shed some light on this situation for me? Are uncles and cousins not allowed to be in the same house or the same room?
Why do some people, they're okay to show their face, but some people only their eyes?
He explains to her that generally women will cover up more out of their respect for Islam. And she's like, are you okay with me showing my hair? And he's like, yeah. Then Tiger Lily tells us that she didn't have time to learn the Muslim religion, but it was fine because he told her he had no expectations of her converting.
I'm so excited to meet with all my family. It's a big family, it's maybe 25% there.
They arrive at the restaurant, and as they walk up, everyone is singing for them, and there's a bunch of guys there. So what was he even talking about? The women then go and sit at one table and start making their plates, while the men are at a separate table standing around a big bowl of food, and they're just eating it with their hands. My jaw was on the floor. I've never seen this, and I'm not a germaphobe, but it was like the food was falling out of their own mouths back into the bowl. Everyone was just eating each other's spit. Everyone keeps piling food onto her plate, and you can tell that she doesn't really eat much, or she hated it. She takes really small bites. She chews as slow as she talks. Then Adnan comes over, and he's like, you have to eat this with your hands. And he balls it up for her and then shoves it in her mouth.
You don't like it?
No. Being hand-fed meat and rice squished together, like...
She's like, what is mensa? And he tells her it's sheep. And she goes, oh, I don't eat those. The mom's like, you know, I was kind of worried. Her mannerisms are quite different. And I agree with mom. Tiger Lily looked really uncomfortable and unhappy the entire time, kind of standoffish. Then his brother walks up and he's like, hey, are you gonna take Adnan back to America? Please say no, stay in Jordan. I mean, he was being playful with it.
Please stay here.
I'm shocked that Adnan's brother didn't know our plan. They're so close. So like, it feels like he's telling me one thing and then telling them something else. Oh, let's move on. I'm like driving myself crazy talking like that. We're with the wheelchair slut and his poor unsuspecting girlfriend Ingrid. She takes him to the car, and for whatever reason he is insisting on driving, which means Ingrid has to get his control set up for him as well as loading the car up. Why couldn't she just drive?
De estar aqui com o Brian, mas eu fiquei surpresa que ele pediu para mim instalar o controle no carro.
If it's his car, it's got to be a rental. And then I remembered that she took a bus there, so maybe she's not driving because she doesn't have her license. They get to the hotel. Brian is so excited to spend some quality time with Ingrid. Then they get up to the room and she hops in the shower.
I'm really excited to see where the night takes us. So I took the blue, half the blue.
Brian tells us that sex is super important to him, even though it's kind of hard for him to feel what's going on down there. She comes out in one of his t-shirts and she's like, oh, don't look at my butt. And then he asks her to help him take off his pants. She looks up at him like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, you need to learn. So she comes over and then he grabs her head and kisses her. And I was like, oh, I got the ick so bad.
I'll throw them a little test sometimes and have them help me out and get a gauge of their attitude, of their patience.
Or you're just trying to get naked with Ingrid, who clearly doesn't want to. She's like, okay, I'm just gonna leave you alone. And he's like, no, you need to stay and watch me. What happens if I fall on the floor?
Pensa em mim caindo no chão.
Eu vou segurar aqui a cadeira, você passa e...
Isso é.
She doesn't even want to look at him naked. At least not yet. It's their very first time meeting. Thankfully, he tells her to wheel the wheelchair out of the bathroom, and when she does that, she doesn't come back into the bathroom. She climbs into bed, she's yawning, and then he goes, hey, did you know that I have to use a catheter? Do you know how those work? Do you know how to put it in?
Mas sabe como eu tenho que colocar essa coisa, não?
Não, eu não quero saber, não. Deixa você me explicar outro dia.
Brian tells us that it's much easier to insert the catheter if he has a partial erection. So he wheels out of the bathroom naked, eager to show Ingrid how it works, and he wants her to do it.
É sobrecarregada, assim. É muita informação para dia só.
Maybe it's medical conditions that are turning her off, but I think him insisting on getting naked and having her touch him is what is bothering her. Obviously, he can do all of this stuff by himself. He has been for decades, and now he's guilt-tripping her to get his way.
Vai ajudar? Não? Cansou?
Não.
Cansou de ajudar já?
Then Brian starts crying. He goes, oh, I'm not disrespecting you, am I? Oh, this guy is a professional manipulator. Like, you want to have sex with someone who's having sex with you out of pity? Ugh. Then he lays down next to her completely naked and starts putting in the catheter after she just told him that she's shy, she doesn't want to talk about it, she's not ready to do that. I was getting so mad.
It seems like it's a little uncomfortable for Ingrid, and I'm worried that I did expose too much too soon.
Yeah, you exposed how much of a horny douchebag you are. Moving on. We're with Chidi and Psychopath on their first morning together. Rayne didn't sleep well. She was somehow freezing and sweating at the same time. It's probably the aliens. She's also convinced that he didn't want to be intimate because he's probably scared to due to losing his vision. It definitely has nothing to do with her being a psycho.
I mean, I am a lot of woman. Maybe I'm just too much to handle.
Oh my gosh, she is a lot of horror. Chidi comes in to find her sweeping and he's like, no, don't worry about that. And she's like, no, I like it. And this broom is awesome. And your smile is so sexy.
I have yet to have the courage to tell Renee about my vow. I want her to be in a better spirit. I am going to make her breakfast.
Chidi says he's really excited to show her how independent and capable he is as a blind man. And she's like, yeah, I can't wait to do all sorts of things with you.
Man, I can't wait to do so much with you.
He's like, so what's your favorite food? And like every good American, she says hamburgers. I also love hamburgers, but unlike Rayna, Mama wants extra onions.
All I want to do is like rub your back and touch you and tickle you.
It feels great.
Chidi tells us that being around Rayna is very arousing, and he's dreading this conversation he has to have with her about remaining celibate. But for now, they're just enjoying their breakfast. I'm not sure what he made for her, but she says it's delicious. Then she's like, so what are we gonna do after? And he's like, we're gonna go shopping in public where it's safe.
I didn't realize that his sister was coming with us. I don't mind the family. I'm just saying I'm just really wanting alone time.
We know. Everyone knows. Then Chidi's sister takes both of their hands because she wants to teach Rayna how Chidi needs to be guided. Of course, Rayna was annoyed at first, but quickly realizes she also doesn't know how to navigate these streets.
It's not at all like walking down the streets in my town. In my town, everything is smooth, paved. Over here, there is so many hazards.
She takes them into the market and buys some agusi, which is seeds from a melon. I've never heard of that before. Then Chidi tells us that going to the market was one of his favorite things before he was blind. But now that he's lost his sight, it seems as if sounds are amplified.
They are now stronger and more sensitive.
He tells us the noise disturbs him and causes him to become disoriented. And then Sister takes them to get some chickens. Rayne is lovingly staring into the cages, trying to communicate with them. Then she overhears Sister discussing the price.
What are you trying to buy for? Hey, what you trying to get for? If you're gonna off it, just leave it. I'd rather starve. I don't want no part of it.
Chidi's like, can we just buy one that's already dead? And the guy takes one of the chickens to kill it. And Rayne is like, if you kill that bird, I'm gonna get real violent.
If you kill that, I'm gonna become pretty freaking violent, so.
Sister tells the guy, never mind, we don't want the chicken, and they leave. And Rayne is just going on and on and on about the chicken.
Chickens are like family members to me. What kind of person would just kill somebody's family right in front of them?
Do you eat chicken?
Oh yeah.
What? How are you going to be mad? Oh my gosh, this girl, she needs meds or a lobotomy. The sister's like, well, is it okay if I just go back and get the chicken myself? And she's like, I ain't eating that thing. If you want to suck on its leg, go ahead and do it yourself.
Let that chicken live.
We're not buying chicken,
I know they're
okay?
gonna die.
No.
I know
we're not buying chicken, okay?
The way that she snarled at the sister, she might be more unhinged than Angela. You guys were totally right. She's gonna be Angela 2.0.
I see them like an equal, like that's messed up, you know what I mean?
It gives me concerns.
Victoria's like, okay, I'm gonna go finish shopping alone because this is nuts. So they go and sit down, and apparently there's like all kinds of chickens running wild all over the place. So Rayne picks one up and puts it in Chidi's hands, and then it cuts to him saying, I'm so confused. She eats a lot of chicken. Like, what just happened?
I'm not embarrassed about causing a sting at the market because when you've pissed me off to that degree, I don't give a damn at that point who listens.
Victoria comes back with some roasted corn for Rayne and Chidi to eat while she finishes her shopping, and then Chidi asks her what her experience is like being with somebody who can't see. She tells him it doesn't feel like a burden at all because she's so in love with him. She wants to do those things for him. She likes doing those things.
I feel really special about the things you do. What can I do to also make you feel special?
Yeah, no wonder she's head over heels for him. He's such a sweetheart. She tells him right away being touched makes her feel special, especially because she's never had a relationship like that before.
I will not be having sex with you until we get married. This is the vow I made to God.
She is shocked. She had no idea, and honestly, it would be really unfair to withhold that information from her.
Chidi and I used to talk about everything regarding sex. Now all of a sudden you're telling me your little celibacy story?
She goes, you've always believed in the same God. You can't just change your mind now. You think this is the right thing? You're not following your heart. Well, Miss Vampire, the Bible actually says to not listen to your heart because it's evil.
When we first met, you agreed that you felt like a whole deeper connection with me. God in my mind is telling me one thing and apparently he's telling you another.
He tells her again this is biblical and he takes that seriously, and she is pissed. She's making her case for why he shouldn't obey God's commandments, and also we find out that he did tell her before she left. It's horrible that she's trying to get him to sin. She might not be thinking it's a sin, but if he does and you're still trying to get him to do it, that's super messed up.
I don't see sex before marriage going against God. I see that more of like a system thing, like a government thing. Like that has nothing to do with God.
She is really weird. I want to say so many things right now, but the bottom line is the Bible makes it abundantly clear God does not want you having premarital sex. I don't know why. How does the government have anything to do with it? The government doesn't give a crap. Like, what do you mean? If the government cared, then there would be laws against premarital sex and there would be repercussions. Like, it makes no sense at all. All of her arguments are so emotional.
And the fact that you're letting religion step in the way of what you knew was between us, like that's messed up.
She tells us that if she knew Chidi and her would not be getting intimate on this trip, then she wouldn't have come, and she feels super rejected by him.
He doesn't see how big this is.
Moving on. We've got a quick clip of these two, and then we're meeting a new couple. So they hop into the taxi, and Loren is just staring at her like he wants to eat her. He says he's so excited for all the dates they're about to go on, and he's super attracted to Faith and can't wait to get to know her.
Loren is going to be staying at the hotel where I working and live. He will have his own room.
So she takes him back into his room, shows him his amenities, and she says she will meet back up with him when he's done with his shower so they can go on their date. She tells us that she has been intimate with men before, but the experiences were not romantic or special, so she really wants to take her time.
You know, they're not knowing that I'm a trans. Then after that, they block me.
He reminds her that he likes everything about her. She looks touched, and Loren tells us that they're really getting along good. She is amazing so far, but they need to speed things up.
I made you a special test. It's the faith test. It's only 40 questions.
She goes through some of the questions and gives goofy answers, which they both laugh about. Then she's finally like, yeah, how about we just rip this up? You can take it back to America.
It's like grade school and it's kind of weird.
Loren tells her he is so happy to finally be with her after 6 long months, and she tells him again that she wants to take it slow. He is her first real boyfriend, and it sounds like she's been used and abused, and she needs to be sure that he's not some sex tourist.
That's why I'm okay with taking it slow as you need to go, right? We don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but after 20 days, we have to have an idea, right?
Then Faith is giving him the side eye like, dude, you just told me as much time as I need, but within 20 days? Now, I don't know what is going on with the rules for traveling to the Philippines, but for whatever reason, he was only legally allowed to stay there for about 20 days.
It's important to find out sooner rather than later if we're sexually compatible.
He walks her back to her room, hugs her goodnight, and she immediately turns her head away and she walks into her room. No kissing. And I think she can definitely tell he has no interest in being patient with her. Sadly, that is it for these two. Let's move on to a new couple. First, we're meeting Sunny, this cute little guy from South Africa.
I grew up in Bangladesh and my mom's still there with my sister. But my dad moved out of the country when I was young.
After he finished school, his father invited him to come and live with him and work with him in his store, which he did, and he has been there for 7 years. He says at first it was difficult for him to adjust because he is very shy, but once he made a few friends, he fell in love with Durban.
Muslim peoples are here, even Indian peoples are here, Bangladeshi peoples, a lot of people said everybody to feel like brothers and sisters here.
Him and his best friend go out shopping to pick up ingredients so that when she arrives, he can make her food. He says in Durban he had one girlfriend, then he downloaded an international dating app and found Veah.
When I look at her picture, she was looking so beautiful because she had 2 colors of hair, too good to be true.
Okay, when I look at her pictures, I can't believe she's in her 20s. Like, she's already had all of this work done. Why are these girls starting out younger and younger?
I'm super excited. Like, when she's gonna be here, I'm confident that we're gonna be happy.
His friend's like, okay, sure. Then Sunny tells us that she's had a very hard life. She grew up in foster care, and he can identify with feeling estranged from your family. So I guess they have that in common. It sounds like he's trying to convince his friend that they are in love, and he's like, bro, you guys are constantly fighting.
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I can't trust her. Sometimes she doesn't pick up my phone calls. Sometimes she just goes.
She also has an ex-boyfriend that is still in her life. This causes him to feel very insecure despite her reassuring him that they are only friends. He explains to his friend that it's American culture to stay friends with your exes, which is debatable, and he plans on proposing to her when she arrives.
If things work out, I wanted to propose her when she's here.
His friend thinks this is a terrible idea. He doesn't believe Sunny knows her as well as he's letting on, and unless she can respect his wishes, it's not going to work out.
Every time when I feel stressed, I go to mosque and I pray. It gives me a lot of peace in my heart and everything just go out of my body.
Then it cuts to Veah in Florida, playing slam ball in the backyard. She tells us she's a bit nervous because she's never traveled out of the country before, and the idea of navigating an airport by herself is very scary.
I think it's because of my upbringing. My mom had 8 of us, but a lot of our life we were separated.
She tells us she has developed pretty severe anxiety as a result of her childhood. Then she tells us she's scared because they have blackouts over there, and her friend is like, well, make sure you bring like one of those little converter things because their outlets are different. And she's looking at her friend like, huh?
Just assumed we all had the same plugins. I mean, it'd make life simpler.
I thought that Loren looked old for his age. This is the roughest 27-year-old I have ever seen. She then tells her friends that they've had some problems with jealousy. He tracks her phone everywhere she goes, and the other day she went to her friend's house and he had a meltdown assuming that she was cheating on him.
That stuff does make me a little nervous, so I ended up inviting Rory.
Your ex?
Yeah.
Her friend's like, that wouldn't have been my first choice. But Veah, or whatever her name is, tells us they had a mutual breakup and he's always been there for her. Her friend is like, does he know that Rory is your ex-boyfriend? And she's like, yeah, actually, there was this one time where Rory started commenting all of these laughing emojis on his online pictures.
Didn't understand why a dude would be in the mirror taking so many pictures.
So he's
Well, he put the laughing emoji on like a few of his pictures.
And I'm sure she never told Rory to F off and mind his own business. And now Sonny doesn't know that this clown is traveling with her to his country. Perfect.
With my anxiety being so bad, there's no way I can travel to South Africa without Rory.
Out of all people, like your ex? Like,
yeah, why couldn't you have brought one of your girlfriends? Oh, it's because Rory has so much experience traveling. Of course it makes sense that she would bring him. She then tells her friends that Sonny doesn't know he's coming. And they're like, what?
when are you going to tell Sonny about all this?
Once we get to South Africa.
With Rory right next to you, or?
So, yeah, I don't know.
I would be so pissed. I would leave them at the airport and just go home. The relationship would be done.
I don't even know what to say. The pot is cooking, man.
In the next episode, Tiger Lily's friends are panicking because Adnan is so controlling, which is exactly why her last marriage ended. We'll meet the Dungeons & Dragons sex bomb and his lovely girlfriend in Ghana.
I have not told her that I don't want to get married on this trip. You will not disappoint me.
Why does everyone keep secrets on this show? Loren reveals that he wants to stay in the Philippines because he is homeless in America.
In America, I'm homeless.
And Brian will reveal to Ingrid how he really got shot. Give a round of applause to our newest members, Ashley Peterson and Robin J. And praise the Lord, we have our first producer, Lee Stewart, and his beautiful wife. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Yay! Bye! Just going on and on and on about the chicken.
I'll kill it, barbecue it, eat it, babe.
It gets worse.